It was a prickly pear tamarind. A great Thursday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville, Texas. And let me say, uh, I probably I'm probably one of the only ones that is not having technical difficulties today, but that's not a bad thing. Let me say, right before we jumped on, uh, Sam was trying to make fun of my richness because he was calling me part of the elite group here in the city of Brownsville because this morning I had brunch. I
Hey,
had brunch.
if you're eating at the same spots as Roy de los Santos, you're rich.
Ya la hice.
That'll see this.
I've
You
made
made
it.
it already.
I got so I went and had breakfast at Morning Glory, guys, and let me tell you, beautiful place, beautiful, beautiful. The way that they fixed it up, I'm very proud of this couple. These guys are the same owners of Main Street Deli, and great food at Main Street Deli, guys. El Chipotle chicken is my favorite. Also, that no, no, yeah, the Chipotle shoot, Chipotle sauce chicken pastry is great, and the other one, the cornbread poblano, it's amazing stuff. So they opened up Morning Glory out there, and my sister, said, "Hey, let's go," and I said, "Sure, let's go." So they went in their vehicle, and I, of course, went in my scooter, and got in there, and it was packed, but had brunch there.
You
Let me
know
say
what scene, man, around Brownsville? I
what
don't know. Maybe you know about it, but the Tlalpeño soup.
a talpeño soup. I love talpeño soup.
Yeah, but do you know who has them?
Yes, sour cream has tlalpeño. Is that right, Richard? Ricardo? Do you know?
I don't know, but I sure know something about Space Dog. Been to Space Dog recently.
Oh God, that place is good.
Loved it. Man, their milkshakes are really, really good.
Amazing. They got some great food. They really do have some great places to eat downtown. Terras is amazing. I've always liked Terras. Main Street Deli is one of my favorites. And now Morning Glory. Le fallaron un poquito, but they were very cool about it because Sam knows this about me. I know my food. I've been I've been around it too much actually all my life. Uh, ah,
Like you've been to San Francisco.
um, Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco trees, and but no, let me say that the food was made. But I had a prickly pear tamarind, and it's like a little mimosa, little type of drink. And I said it's good. It needs a little bit more of the prickly pear. I want to taste the la tuna, la tuna.
But the prickly pear is not a strong taste. It's not a strong flavor.
Of course it is. La tuna.
Not on drinks.
Sam, what have you been drinking, bro?
Straight up, to be honest. Not the fruity stuff.
Well, because I'm fancy in all the right places. But
My old fashioned stuff.
no, so I had that. It was good. A little bit more prickly pear juice. I want a little bit more prickly pear taste. My eggs Benedict overcooked, and because in eggs Benedict, Sam, I know you have no knowledge of this, but tú eres puro frijol y tortilla.
Sí. Frijoles negros, por favor, con queso blanco.
But when you get a when you get a eggs Benedict, you're supposed to with a knife right down the center, and the bread's supposed to be crunchy, sourdough crunchy, and then
The
lo
yolk.
amarillo de hielo.
The
Lo amarillo,
hollandaise sauce.
well, lo amarillo del huevo needs to, and this one was overcooked. It was like a huevo cocido. So I said, save that back. So I sent it back, and they brought it back. It was good. The capers, it's got capers. Those are good. The hollandaise sauce, a little bit more lemon because it's made out of lemons. A little bit more lemon. It's a great dish. But
It's got a
guys,
little, just a tad bit of tanginess to it.
yeah, it's got to have that little tang. I like that tang. And but all in all, guys, please go support local business. We need more of these type of establishments here in the city of Brownsville, and great stuff. And they were
When
very
all that morning glory, it looks like a Disney breakfast type of deal.
A
Like, have you
what?
had breakfast at Disney World? Like with a character breakfast?
Nomás quieres apantallar que ha sido a Disney, marrano.
No, it's because like the chandeliers and everything, like the old school, like nice, fancy wallpaper type of deal.
Very
It looks,
nice.
the Morning Glory, like it looks real nice. I haven't been to it, but it looks real nice from the picture what I've seen. But that's what.
Super nice. The pictures do not do it justice. Have you been, Ricardo?
We have not. Sarah and I are kind of a Palm Lounge couple. We really enjoy the Palm Lounge.
Delicious.
Yes, love
Their
it.
their boogers. Their burgers, amazing. But everything I've had at
With that
Palm Lounge.
said, since you go to Palm Lounge, would you agree that they should renovate all the 14th Street bars?
Absolutely. Let's.
Hell yeah.
This
I'm
is
a
the
start,
spot.
and I had
Talk
said it
about
first.
culture. We have such an opportunity to have be the capital of the music and food scene of the entire valley right here in Brownsville, and I think it's really starting to jump.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things I think we talked about some time back. If there was a little bit more, vision in regards to let's include all of Brownsville, all of historical Brownsville, in renovating that 14th Street has the potential of being, the music street of Brownsville and
Like
the
having like a
eateries.
plan,
The what?
like a master plan for the whole city.
Yeah, like well, one of the things that I think that the city has really worked on is renovating, retaining our history and everything. La Catorce, there's nothing more historic in the city of Brownsville than La Catorce. Nothing at this point. I mean, it's still alive. It may be have a lot of little bars out there that are run down, but I remember La Catorce back when I was a little kid because my tias, one of them, I'm not going to say which one because my primos are going to get upset, but
You're
my
gonna say
tia, my tia would say, no me tuve que ir a sacar allá a tu tío de la 14. And I'm going like, what's la 14? But we got educated on la 14 at a very early age. And I'm 32. No, but what I'm saying is that they're still there. And one of
yeah.
the amazing things about La 14 is that the genre of music, it's amazing because in my wild partying years, which stopped last week, my younger partying years, we would go hear Dead Horse at Chapas Bar. They'd have.
Wouldn't it be easier to do like a pub crawl there than in downtown?
Yes, it'd be amazing. I think because downtown, it's close to the border. But anyway, if Chapas Bar, they used to have metal music, Headbangers Ball, the Pit, and everything. It was just great. And of course, Charlie's classic. Charlie should be the center of La 14 revamping. Charlie's. Who didn't go buy beer after hours at Charlie's?
Snitch.
you know, it's true. I love Charlie. Charlie's a good friend of mine. Always supported me in every single thing that I've done. But La 14 is classic. We
Yeah.
got
There are other places that are like part of Brownsville, but like as far as I can remember, it's like the 14 it's pretty iconic, and everybody in the valley kind of knows 14 from Brownsville. Like
yeah,
say la 14 Brownsville, and they know what you're talking about.
La 14 en La Pitada. That's
Yeah.
what Brownsville's known for, La Pitada and La 14. And La 14, again, transcends anything downtown, anything down south most, La 14. And that would be vision. I think that when I ever do run for mayor, that's going to be my
Your agenda.
my platform. My number one thing is bar hopping for all of Brownsville down La 14.
Hey, that would boost a whole lot of Uber rides sales.
Well, it's que sí está céntrico, Sam, because you leave La 14 and you go straight to Rivera, southmost, get on the expressway, go to Alton Glore, go to the new neighborhood. It's eso sí
All you
céntrico.
need is that little strip renovated and have like a food truck park, like
Yes,
Yeah.
I said it first, Sam. I was actually thinking before you said it, but an amazing food park out there.
It's that sense of community that you bring up here in Brownsville, and the La Catorce in our downtown area and other areas. That's better than Facebook. That's better than any social media because it's that face to face interaction with La Cultura here that I think needs to be alive and well.
Yeah, but we don't want anyone getting off my page anytime soon. Guys, please don't listen to Ricardo and stay here. And don't go La Catorce right now. Go afterwards. Y me hablan, me invita. Guys, we got attorney Ricardo Barrera with us tonight. It's such an honor.
Very pleased to be here, and thank you for having me.
I've known Ricardo and Sarah. I they're my friends. I've known them for years now, and very very proud of their contribution to Brownsville constantly, always giving back. And it's not just because the family was drugged through some campaigns, but always giving back to the community. Always involved with the sports. Just a great group, and I appreciate you being on here.
Thank you.
One of the and we're going to one of the reasons you caught my attention and now is that I see that you are starting to do these lives on social media. Uh,
Mhm.
why are we doing lives on social media?
One of the things down here in Brownsville and throughout the valley is that not people don't really know what their rights are as parents. They don't know what their rights are as fathers or mothers, whether they have custody of children or they're visiting parents or they're single mothers trying to fight just for the best for their children. And so one of the things that Sarah and I really dedicated ourselves to is getting out there and making sure that everybody at every level, no matter whether you're rich or you're not rich, has an opportunity to know what the law is and what their rights are regarding their children.
And it's really appreciated. One of the things that I think a lot of folks, are because I was actually watching one of your lives the other day, and a lot of the folks really, really do appreciate to have that opportunity, to be able to get information that they probably couldn't get anywhere else. So it's really a plus, and it really is awesome having you on here tonight. Uh, let's go into what's been going on here locally. One of the things I think that we've all been following has to do with what happened at Porter, and one of the things I think that we've shared is that there's just not enough information out there for anyone to say, well, it's going this way or that way. One of the things that, and again, I'm so glad that you're here this week and today. One of the things that I was concerned with is. Are we providing enough resources to our kids? One of the things that we talked about this morning was how when I was growing up, we had all this boys club, girls club, which we don't have anymore. I mean, they transformed it into Parks and Recreation, but there's no boys and girls club anymore. We used to have Big Brother programs here in the city of Brownsville, and I wish Maggie would come on. Instead of sleeping all the time, damn Maggie. But we have those programs out here that aren't existent anymore. And one of the things that concerned me about one of these little kids that went out there was, did we do enough as a community?
It takes a village, they say, to raise a child. And I tell you, it was great back in the old days when we had more of a community sense in raising children. And you see the generations as they get older, those are the ones who are going to be taking care of us. And we have to make sure that we make that investment early on. Yeah, we want to invest in the history, we want to invest in all the things that are great about Brownsville. But these are the people that are going to be driving our school buses, teaching our children, that are going to be our doctors and going to be our judges. And we have to make that investment now.
Well, one of the concerns is, I think if I'm not mistaken, one of the issues with one of the individuals that I think was $375,000 bond. I think something like you got the amount, Sam? No,
it was 395,000.
395, 400,000 a bond. There's no way that kid's ever going to come out on bond.
No.
There's no way. But you start to Mande?
Like, did you see I know you saw the video of when it was the hearing. like the court appointed lawyer like didn't even consult with the guy with the kid. He didn't even talk to him. It seemed like he didn't talk to him at all. He was just like, yeah, yeah, just say yes right now, and then you just appeal later.
Well,
Pretty much.
Like, what?
and Ricardo could probably, give us a little bit more clarity in regards to it. I'm going to say that the attorney did converse with the student, the child, and his advice was be quiet right now.
Yeah,
Be quiet.
exactly. It's very important that the Fifth Amendment be in play at all times whenever you have a criminal case, because anything that they say, and believe me, the younger the person is, the less sophisticated they are, the more likely they're about to say something that could be either, it could cause them some trouble, or it could be misinterpreted.
Well, it hurt me. Again, it hurt me bastante because when when the little boy started to speak. I mean, he's a little boy. People are going, "Well, he's 18. He's an adult." They're children, man. Come on. Kids don't develop like the way that we developed. When we were growing up, and I agree with what Ricardo was mentioning. Man, we had to man up like when we were like 14, except for Sam. Sam still hasn't manned up. But, we'd have to man up since we were like 14, 15, go get a job. I was working at 15 years of age, and actually I started working at 10. But, now kids today, and let me tell you, one of the things that I've always shared with people, I was 14 years old. The first time I crossed to Matamoros, I got on I went in a pecera to the bus station and I went to Monterrey to spend a couple of weeks with my friends solo at 14 years old. And now I look at 14-year-old kids and I go, what the hell were my parents thinking? You know? Because like, how the hell? I would never trust one of these little huerquitos de 14-year-old to go anywhere.
Ahí aplastado.
¿Eh?
Perfecto. Con que no estés en la casa, nomás ahí acostado.
Yeah. Yeah. They were probably going like, a ver si ahora sí ya no regresa. But no, but I felt for the kid. I really felt for the kid because como que cognitively, como que no pescó. Because and look, guys, anyone out there, the kid was raising his hand, and ahí it really hurt me. Like, ay, muchacho, you don't have to raise your hand. Raising his hand, like, tenía terco, and the police officer like, lower your hand, lower your hand. No, I gotta say something. And then it was inconsistent. And then when the attorney, I'm not sure the attorney was trying to say, we'll discuss this later. The kid was still going out there. I didn't have a gun. I didn't have a gun. And he didn't understand that they had classified the vehicle as a deadly.
What I don't get is that he got 2 counts of like assault with a deadly weapon, I guess, towards the public servant, and then 4 counts, and then 2 counts towards the security.
What's often very complicated about these cases is that the beginning is the end, is the end is the beginning in these cases. You don't really actually see how it comes together until the process takes hold. So it's going to look very, very complicated at the beginning, but as the process comes through, it should make more understandable. And you just your heart goes out to everybody involved. And I think overall, I think Erasmo said it, we need policy changes, deep at the root to make sure that we're not in these positions. We're better than that in Brownsville. We're better than that in the Valley.
Just went for affidavits, didn't they? They didn't go on any proof whatsoever. Like, did they show it? They didn't have anything yet. They just like, oh yeah, well, these are the charges that were brought up to you. Accept them or not.
We know very little about the evidence, but we're going to find out more as the process goes on. It's one of those things where affidavits may be used in a charging instrument, but as you go on, they need hard evidence.
Yeah, because like in the beginning, how Erasmo was saying yesterday, like they had mentioned like the shooting from the vehicle, and that's how everything started and what caused the whole ruckus. So do you think that showing proof that there was no gunshot with the video from the school, do you think that may cause like a mistrial?
I think it could all come into play. And I think, going back to the theme here earlier that we brought up, let's talk to the parents. Let's talk to the family support unit. Let's talk to the boys club. Let's talk to the pastors. Who is in this person's life and what role do they have? Because somewhere along the lines, things broke down.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that I constantly says is let's go to the root of the problem and let's start working at it now. Because what happens is at this point, it's just so much harder, because one of the things, Ricardo, that I was playing in my mind, after I saw is the bail hearing. One of the things that was going in my mind, like, how can I help this kid? It was actually one of the South Park issues. How can I reach these kids? I don't know if y'all saw. I don't know if you see South Park, but it, well, it was Cartman. But anyway, but it was going through my mind. How can I reach these kids? How can I help this kid? And it's so much harder, at this age, cuando ya están maleados. We learned that the child had already had a felony, which he was going to be sentenced on the 31st of August. At this point, it's just so much harder. And if we went back, like Ricardo said, if we went back and addressed the issue at the younger years, you know, at least we'd cover all of our bases.
Isn't that well? I know it's a different perspective, but I know the wasn't the Justice of the Peace back like a scared straight program.
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you about the most important judges in our entire county. You know who they are? The family court judges. These judges, from CPS on forward to dealing with, fathers who aren't paying support or parents who aren't able to get along to raise their child. This is one of the most important judicial decisions that can be made because it builds our community.
Well, let me say again, I want to go back into a time where we were offering a lot more services, like a lot of boys club, girls club, more programs supporting our Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, our Girl Scouts, our Brownies. Brownies. Is it Brownie Scouts or just Brownies?
I think it's the brownies. They're like like the boys, the Cub Scouts of the Girl Scouts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But are they called Brownies or Brownie Scouts?
I think called brownies. I
Just
think Brownie
Brownies.
Scouts. Not sure.
The brown. I want us to go back at a time where we're offering a lot more service,
Is
and
that like a Brownsville thing?
uh,
Playing. Is that like a Brownsville thing? The brownie.
no, it happens everywhere, Sam. But that was racist, Sam. But it's okay. I forgive you. No, I want us to go back into a lot of the different social programs that help out our kids, and give them extra resources and extra tools that they could probably use, moving forward to make better decisions. One of the things that I appreciate a lot is that a lot of our kids, and I think that, and Ricardo, you could correct me if I'm wrong. One of the reasons for the pretrial diversion programs out there, we're sort of geared towards our first offenders, our young kids, or something, so that something wouldn't go on their record. Is that about right?
That is perfectly right. The pretrial diversion program is supposed to be a second chance program that really helps people who just made an unusual mistake in their life get back on track, be employable, and be productive to society.
Well, I know for a fact that it was something that I just brownies when I was one. Thank you, Ginger. I know that it's an amazing program, and I'm glad that a lot of our students are going to be able to take advantage of them. One of the things that we've been seeing a lot, because I don't know if you've come across this with us, individuals here in the community, is that a lot of our students are starting to use these vape pens and started to add a lot of that THC and a lot of which again, my I've always been very clear on my stance. I hope we get to the point where we make marijuana, decriminalize marijuana here in the city of Brownsville. But with that said, as that some of our students are out there, using vape pens with THC, and they're facing a felony.
Juvenile courts every day see kids going in because of these vape pens. And while they say that juvenile offenses don't really make a difference because at the end of the day, their record is sealed and they can be employable, it makes a huge difference. That's the gateway to the rest of their lives. And I'm telling you that there was a program in Harlingen, a real special program, was a boot camp program that was helping out a lot of people. But you spoke to something earlier about people being incarcerated and their lives ruined for offenses of addiction or offenses like that. These are not the type of offenses that are harming other people. These are the offenses that need help. And it's really terrible that they have to be incarcerated and crowd our jails for that reason.
Well, my concern with some of our students, and I had this argument with several individuals in law enforcement, especially at BISD police, was that if one of our students goes out there and gets a felony, it's going to exclude them from being able to participate, especially for marijuana, participate in anything like financial aid, a lot of different scholarships and programs out there. So I didn't want to ruin the opportunities that a kid could have gotten for something as dumb as taking a shot of a vape pen.
Well, there's federal legislation that's supposed to eventually pass that is going to eventually allow people to have be absolved of little possessions of marijuana convictions that they got when they were young, and it stains their employment record for the rest of their lives. It keeps them from being able to be in the military and other places that they can make a good living at.
Hey, but that goes to the same thing that I had said when we were talking with that with Dr. Juana about the vape pens with the THC, because some kids were like, because some kids smoke the vape pens with THC, but what's the root cause of that? Because sometimes they be smoking I guess the vape pens because they have other issues, which goes back to the other thing that like there's needs to be more programs for children or teenagers to be, I guess, more involved or interact to, so they could lead like more into like healthier habits.
Yeah, vape pens are unfortunate. They'd be a product of peer pressure, a parent, neglect of a parent. There's all kinds of things going on, but the most thing is that I remember in health class back when I was a youngin in the '90s, and they would give us really, really just they'd show us the worst possible scenarios of all different kinds of drugs and things like that, and we were scared. We,
Yeah,
we were scared to
I
get
remember.
near that stuff because it's just like we just saw somebody who was very unfortunately emaciated or lost had a heart attack the first time they tried an amphetamine or whatever, and those after school specials and different seminars they were scary.
Super scary.
Yeah, because I remember in their program they were like, oh, when you grow older, when you're a certain age, they're gonna offer you a whole lot of drugs and give it to you for free, which is such a lie. No one gives those for free. Uh,
Zero.
but now the Dare program was there back in the day and kind of get let you know like, hey, this is what's out there. Be aware of it. I don't see that as much nowadays.
Well, my concern going back into our kids, being charged with a felony. Look, because part of the issue is like they're going to have to get some type of representation out there, and unfortunately, most of these kids that are out there vaping and messing around with these drugs, they come from like this child that we just saw, from a broken home family, a single parent, the presence of parents in the home, I guess because of what I saw was very minimal. So, you got a lot of these kids out there, they don't have the resources to fight a felony, to fight, because you have to defend yourself to offer a great defense. And again, all this could be avoided if we just hit the root problem.
Yeah. You know where most cases are overturned, most criminal cases are experts, DNA, science. It's really costly. And unfortunately, if you can't get those resources, if you can't afford them or get approval for them, you miss out on potentially exonerating evidence.
Well, and and I'm glad Maggie finally decided to show up. Uh, Let me say, actually, one of the programs that Maggie and I had talked about the other day, uh, and Maggie was a part of it, and I wish we had it back in Brownsville, the Big Brother and Big Sister, and
Okay,
I
so can I just step in right now? Since am I allowed? Especially since I haven't really been here.
we'll
Okay,
give
so
you
hi,
we'll give
I'm
you 30
Maggie.
seconds.
Okay, thank you. So I apologize for being late. I fell asleep. And I got on and I saw what you were talking about, and I'm glad you're talking about this. Now, let me preface it with I am totally against what you've been saying about these teenage boys, and I'm like, whatever it took to stop them for whatever was going on, I'm pro. We wanted cops on the campuses. We wanted safety for our children. I'm glad the cops did what they had to do. So I'm just going to go with that one so that you know how I feel about it. I know. Having said that, though, I think you guys are right in that the city does not have enough programs for the young kids that are easily available also, because I have an only child, and my husband and I planned on 4 to 6 kids. We wanted a big family. We come from a semi big family. Both of us, I have 3 siblings. My husband has 5 siblings. We wanted our children to have siblings. We were only blessed with one kid, which we gave her everything we could. And on a teacher salary, it kind of got hard, but Girl Scouts is expensive. Girls being in the Girl Scouts is very expensive. I remember when I was in elementary, almost it seemed like almost every elementary had a Girl Scouts program available. I had to search one out, and I found one through our church, and only because they were selling Girl Scout cookies did we know. But to get my kid into dancing and university music classes, because I was going to let her choose whatever. So she had swimming, dancing, piano, violin classes, I gymnastics, everything I could get in Girl Scouts, everything I could get my kid into. I was trying to get her into it, and it's expensive.
Super.
Kickball, everything is expensive. So I always remember I worked with a coach, Freddie. Freddie, wonderful coach from the South Bronx. He always said that somebody over at Mainoff, the Boys and Girls Club, always said he was their success story because he could have gotten into trouble. He was a kid that went to different high schools because he knew everybody because he went to different high schools. He was always getting moved to a different high school. But he's a coach. He's an amazing coach for BISD. And he always said he was the Boys and Girl Scout success story. We don't see the Boys and Girl Scouts anymore. Big brothers and big sisters. I was a big sister. I was one of Erasmo's big sister.
Yeah.
So that's how weird connection. But I used to take his sister Claudia out once a week. I didn't have Claudia. I had another little sister named Lucy. And my thing was always trying to teach them what they could do if they went to college. After school programs right now, everything is academic. Everything is tutorial.
And that's unfortunate.
Huh?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, because the kids are tired. 7 hours of education, and then you're still going to do another 2.5 hours, 2 hours of education. When you really need to do something is provide something that lets them think, lets them socialize, lets them do something else. So I completely agree that we need something. We need that back. The push for college is huge, and we've come to the realization that not everyone's going to do college, and they don't have to. And they don't have to go to college to make good money and to have a good life. So that's why I had to get on the show, because I want to make sure that I included also and said something about the fact that we do need more social programs. My girl is a sophomore right now in high school. We're trying to get her. I only saw that volunteering and putting in community service hours is important because my neighbors' kids were doing it. It costs, if we want my kid to volunteer at the zoo, we have to pay about $150 for her to be a volunteer. Okay, so that is, and a lot of our parents, low-income parents, don't know that. We're just talking about the parents who want to help their kids out, don't know that one, to go to college, if that's the track you want to do, you have to do community service hours, and two, it's not that easy to get into community service hours where you just show up and volunteer for free. Like, you actually have to pay to be a volunteer, and it's not that easy because you also have to get a uniform and you have to get a certain look. And that absolutely, we need to think of something that we can help our kids on the off times, during the off hours, not school time, to help them out.
Well, and I'll let Ricardo chime in. But one of the things that our city is very famous for is diverting programs to a lot of these niche programs like Gringo de Mayo and Crossroads. I mean, couldn't those resources, be used in order to, bring in these programs that actually help our younger kids, and maybe make them make better decisions, Ricardo?
I think so. One of the kindest things we can do for our youth is keep them busy and engaged. I remember as a kid, I was playing French horn.
Mhm.
I was out there, whether I was hunting or fishing or whatever I was doing. It's like Jesus says, there's lessons in everything to learn. And I believe that it doesn't have to just be a textbook academic setting. You can go out there and learn more about social skills. You can learn about biology and you can learn about how many things work. But you're right. So we have to get down to the root of things if we really want to have and protect our children, not just with security, but let's get some programs and engage them. Let's
Mhm.
invest. The best investment we can make is our future. You know, our next revolution of leaders that are going to come out there and
Absolutely.
make sure we're taken care of.
I,
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I think of is if BISD does not do what's best for our kids, I mean, that's our future. These are the ones who are going to take care of us when we're old. They're the ones that are coming up with, having to come up with skills for jobs that we haven't even invented. In the 2000s, when I started teaching, there was a YouTube video called "Did You Know?" I think that was what it was called, and it would say one of the things that we are preparing kids for is jobs that we don't even know that are going to be invented in 10 years from now. And that's one of the things that we need to think of also is how are we going to help these kids? How are we going to help our kids get ready for the future? And it may not be college prep.
Well, I can tell you as a family law practitioner, and I see a lot of my colleagues doing this, it starts when they're young, and it starts with those vulnerable populations of single parent homes, just like Mr.
Mhm.
Gospel said earlier. You know, and really, we go above and beyond, me and my colleagues as family law lawyers, to try to get resources to families and parents and so on and so forth. But you only have what you have to work with. Let's make some more things available.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I agree. One of the things I don't know if you were coming on back then, Maggie, when I posted when they sent me the situation at Morningside Park, how our kids at Morningside Park, don't even have a dugout and stuff, and how they've let a lot of the our parks deteriorate into nothing.
Absolutely.
And going like, these are our kids,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I've mentioned to a lot of people out there, look, you may not love yourself, but love your kids enough to demand a little bit better. And one of the situations that we're going through right now is that money money is hard to come by.
Mhm.
Money is hard to come by. First of all, and again, we have a very minimal job economic development in our area. It hasn't trickled down, despite what anyone has said anywhere. We haven't had these amazing, good-paying jobs come to our area. So what happens is a lot of people are having to make more, can't make more. My concern is with everything that's going on in the city of Brownsville. I'm sure that Ricardo, everyone here has felt it. Just with our electricity, it's it's madness. We are so sinking deeper and deeper into a hole. And look, and one of the things that I've made mention to, Ricardo, I don't know if you've seen the shows where I've mentioned it. Look, I can afford the extra $100, $200 a month. It's going to hurt, but I can afford them. I'm
Mhm.
out here screaming at the top of my lungs, and every day I make it a point to go out there and tell our elected officials and PUB where the hell did you put 135 million of our dollars?
Yeah, people
Because
just mhm,
go
mhm.
go go.
People just want to stop being lied to. I'm telling you
Mhm.
right now that, you know, and we're getting close to November elections here. And let's just get the elephant on the table here. One of the things that is just, our voter population, and believe me, I've been in and out of our voting population throughout Cameron County. Sarah won Cameron County. We know Cameron County. And I'm going to tell you, people are just done. They are done and ready to vote for whoever's not in office these days,
Mhm.
because we're promised things and then treated like high school students, given cookies and food and carnitas or whatever to vote for somebody. You're insulting our intelligence. Tell us what the issues are. Don't try to line us up like we're in a junior high election with a cookie box to vote
Mhm.
for you. And so you're right. I have clients that an extra $40 a month in their electricity means that they don't have gas to take their kids to school. or they can't buy that, carne that they have to eat on arroz, and rice and beans and tortillas, you know.
See,
Well,
and I didn't know that, Melida. I'm glad you brought that up. Sorry.
my concern, Ricardo, and look, I know of these cases, guys, and this is what really it really burns my insides. I know of people that are struggling to buy medication, and they
Mhm.
have to choose. People may say like, "Oh, you're just being cliche." No, because you don't hear about it or see it. I see it every day. People are at that point where they have to decide: do I buy my insulin, or do I have electricity for my home?
And when
And
people are at that point, one of the first things that's going to have to get dropped is their children's extracurricular, um, all the extracurricular activities that might cost anything. I mean, it in kids are fickle. They want to do one thing first and then they want to do another thing. And it's okay. To me, it's okay because they're trying to figure out what their likes and their dislikes. So my child started playing cornet. We bought a cornet. Turns out no, now she wants to play tuba. So, and switch that. And then eventually doesn't want to be in band. Okay. Like Erasmo says, we can kind of afford these little expenses here and there until our child figures out what she wants to do.
You
But
know,
children with parents that might want to but don't have the finances, how are they going to do it?
history is very clear that the more you push that divide between the haves and the have-nots, the people who are
Mhm.
struggling week to week, month to month, and wanting to build things for the rich, and the people who have money to do things that other people cannot even do, the
Mhm.
more the people will stand up and revolt. And I'm telling you right now that there's a fire in Brownsville, there's a fire in Cameron County, and I'm watching and waiting to see what's going to happen in these November elections, and I'm waiting for our candidates to come here and tell us straight, like a lawyer has to be sworn to and educated to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. Tell us where we need to improve and be real with us. Go and inspect your city, go inspect your county, and look at the colonias. Go ask people of all economic statuses where they're at.
well, one of the things that and again, I'm going to use myself. One of the things that I was, attacked on was like, "Oh, that's what you're just being negative." I go like, "Well, show me where I'm wrong. Tell me I'm
Mhm.
wrong. That's fine. You could call me negative. That's fine. I'm a big boy. I've been through the ringer here in the city of Brownsville. He sido el palito, el monito de palito que todos le quieren pegar. No hay problema. That's fine. Show me where I'm wrong. And that's my only concern. And I've confronted the mayor. I've confronted Eddie Trevino. I've confronted Joey Lopez. I've confronted all these people. Show us where we're wrong,
Mhm.
and we'll start talking about all the beautiful stuff that's going on. But it's kind of hard when individuals can enjoy the great stuff and the beautiful stuff that goes on because they can't afford it, because
Mhm.
there's no economic development, because we've been promised heaven and earth here in Brownsville, Texas. The land of milk and honey. We haven't gotten anything. And
Mhm.
we've been promised that we're going to have individuals that are going to produce audits for us in regards to PUB, in regards to where $135 million went for a defunct Alaska, and we've gotten nothing. And
Mhm.
then people, when elections come, as Ricardo mentioned, they like, "Oh, trust me, believe me, we're working on it."
Go back to the comment Luis made
I
right
still,
now. Huh? Okay, so read it.
as a former Boy Scout professional, one of the hardest things was also school access. It made it hard to reach the families. Even if school districts were supportive, each campus made their decision of allowing the recruitments to happen.
Okay, my husband was a volunteer for Civil Air Patrol. Not a lot of people are familiar with Civil Air Patrol. And it has a lot to do with 12-year-olds on up and teaching them about Air Force and flight and rescue. And I could not give you enough information. And he's going to probably get mad at me because I probably gave it to you all wrong. He has approached, I would say, almost every single junior high principal and high school in Brownsville and Los Fresnos, and he has yet to have a program. Someone say, I mean, there's a lot of yes, we want to do it, and they don't get around to it. And I understand it's because the principals are crazy busy trying to get it all done. But he has not been able to get a school that is willing to do the aerospace engineering program. I don't know, that's available to the teachers. And that's what Luis is saying is right. It's not very easy to access with the school district or with the schools.
Oh, there's and again, it goes back into putting the resources where they need to be placed. Let me tell you, one of the things that and again, I want to applaud, and I can't remember the name of the church, but one of our local churches. I know that Dinah's mom, Dinah, I can't remember her last name. I'm sorry, Memor, I love you to death. They donated one of their church buildings to Big Heroes. You're familiar with Big Heroes, guys, right?
Yeah.
Big Heroes is an amazing, amazing program. I've been doing my best to follow it through all the time that they've been serving the community out there. A great, great program. I have yet to see them on a list where they qualify for any resources from the city of Brownsville. Have yet to see them. But when we, and again, guys, when our leadership fails us, we cannot just fold our hands and cruzarnos las manos and decir, it is what it is. We can't. We have to become proactive. And I'm very, very proud of this church because they donated their building, one of their old buildings, to Big Heroes, and it's been renovated so that they could use the Huertas. I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the Huerta family that the church that gave this building up, and that's what's great because when leadership fails us, then we have to do something.
You have to be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, and but and again, this does not excuse our it doesn't give them a pass because at the end of the day, our elected officials, and Ricardo, you know this, they work with our resources. They work with our resources. And one of the conversations that I had with leadership here in the city of Brownsville and Cameron County, when I said, "Hey guys, we want to know what they're doing with this money," they said, "Well, it's not y'all's money; it's federal funds and it's private funds." I said, "Bitch, it's still our funds. They gave it to us, the city of Brownsville." But what happened, Ricardo? They want to make this thing where it's us up here and you all down here.
The law calls a person who's entrusted with funds of another a fiduciary. A fiduciary has a duty to not act in their self-interest, but the interest of the people they're entrusted to take care of. And with every single cent that comes in, it's just a tragedy that you see it going towards the things that aren't really the long-term investments we're talking about. Let's go back to the kids. Let's talk about the kids that are going to be our future. Let's talk about that kid that nobody paid attention to in a single mother household, was put on Ritalin at age 3 because nobody could deal with him or spend time with him, and is experiencing all kinds of side effects and issues. Where is that kid going to be? And how much of our tax dollars do we end up spending on the people who are left behind?
Well, that's again, just in financials, it would be more cost effective if we worked at the children at that age that you mentioned. At the root of the problem, that will avoid, overcrowding courtrooms. We'll avoid a lot of the casa issues. We'll avoid a lot of the different stuff that goes on in regards to family violence but we have to start working at the base of everything.
I had volunteered when I was a young lawyer to help out kids who were susceptible to being in gangs, right?
Yeah.
And I talked to some reformed gang members that were now helping kids stay away from gangs. And one of the things that it was like a cross to a vampire, is if there was a kid in a 2-parent household that went to church every Sunday and their parents were helping them with homework every night, they didn't touch those kids. They knew better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Maggie, I think, or Sam, it's just so simple. The solution is so simple.
But you're right. Our leaders right now are out. Everyone's out for themselves. Somehow, because I seem to remember when we were young, these programs were all available for us. Yes, I know. I'm 54. So 50 years ago, 45 years ago, when we were young. But then again, I come from a double parent, church going. So mom or dad were always there. They were always on our case, whatever. He always says all the time. Yes, my parents are very religious. No one called my mother right now because I have not been as religious as I should be. I know. But that was the thing is, you didn't get in trouble at school because you know you were going to get in trouble at home
Oh,
even worse. Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, if you were misbehaving down the street, the neighbors had as much right to yell at you as your parents did, because it was a community. And somehow we have strayed away from that. And you're right, Erasmo. It's something about the society that we need to do to bring back all these programs available for the children who don't have those stable homes to grow up in.
I'll tell you, as a family law lawyer, sometimes I sit down with a young parent, 21, 22 years old, has a 4 or 5 year old, and I give them the most simple advice you could hear at church or you could read in a book or whatever. And it is just brand new, amazing information that nobody's ever spent time to tell them before. And it just takes a little light touch to make a big intervention in someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree 100% with what Ricardo just mentioned. And let me say, it, again, going back, it would cost us so much less, you know, just to nip it in the bud at the root of it, and go back to those little family values, go back into, you know, being out there for kids. It's all about allowing our family to have a good quality life. It will make a great impact on our youth. If they see their parents frustrated without money and barely making ends meet, then they will expect that this is the life that they should live. It's a vicious cycle. And unfortunately, it's a
Yeah.
vicious cycle.
Unemployment is highly tied to addiction issues, unfortunately. And addiction issues, well, those come in because a person, unfortunately, couldn't find help anywhere else and they're
Mm-hmm.
escaping something.
Same here, David. I went to Girl Scouts at Martin Elementary because it was there. It was available there.
Yeah, yeah. I had Cub Scouts back in Cromac, you know, and you know, it was at the cafeteria. You know, after school, you know, we'd stay for those programs, Maggie. And I agree with Maggie in a sense. Okay, you know, we should bring back a lot of those programs back onto our campuses.
We used to go to summer programs at our church and at school, and none of it was academic. It was all crafting and playing games and socializing. And I think I've been reading a lot about what a lot of the educators are saying, that COVID did do a bad. That's another way that COVID negatively affected our children, is they don't have the social skills. We lost a lot of social skills that we need to work on to begin with, and then COVID made it worse. But yeah, I somehow we need to bring back community and community schools and neighborhood schools. I mean, again, that's what Longoria Elementary was, and Erasmo helped get rid of it. But anyway, that's a whole other story. I'm still angry at him for that. But anyway, go on.
Kids wanted structure and discipline, something a lot of don't get at home. Yeah, and I agree with Mateo. You know, and something that just Ricardo just mentioned. You know, you see it in their eyes sometimes, Ricardo. You see it how
Mm-hmm.
they desperate, like regáñame,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
cacheteame, something.
Yeah. I've had people tell me before, wow, nobody's ever told me to respect myself. Nobody's ever told me that I'm worth something, that I should not, you know, let other people use me in that way, that I have dignity, you know, and it's amazing because they should have heard that a million times growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we heard it all the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've shared the story of when I got. I mean, I literally got whipped with a mezquite vara by my grandmother. Whipped. I mean, not nada de que ay mijito. She whipped me like it was nobody's business just because I told my grandfather que te importa. Just that, you know. And I mean, to this day, I carry the
But
scars.
did you ever say it again?
Never again. You know, never ever again. And you know, it's real weird because I tell people, you know, there's no one on this earth that I've ever loved more than my grandmother, and she beat the crap out of us. You know, in today's court system, in today's world, she'd probably be doing life right now. You know, she'd be getting the injection. I remember when. Hey, Chuck. Good to see you, Chuck. You need to send me your phone number. I don't have your phone number. I need to have a conversation with you. I remember when BISD would give students who got A or B honor rolls, a perfect attendance, free tickets to the zoo, free meals, Golden Cross. Yeah, yes. Pizza encourage kids to be great. They also help parents treat their children to activities and community. BISD should bring them back. Maggie, remember when they used to have what's the hell that park out there that they we used to go the top 5%, 10%
Oh, to encampment.
encampment. You
Yeah.
know that encampment is now garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was a swimming pool. It was activities. You look forward to doing that kind of crap.
Yeah.
It's not existent anymore.
No, and it's amazing because when you're talking about it, and Ricardo's also talking about this, is if we could nip it in the bud, it would cost so much less than when they become adults, and then we have to pay for all the other problems, and the problems become exacerbated and multiplied.
Well, it's like they say, people are like, why should I have my children read during the summer 3 or 4 different novels, or why should I work on their reading skills? Well, those same children are going to read the laws someday, and they're going to understand what those laws say and be able to stand up that their laws aren't for the people. If we don't have a generation that likes to read or is willing to read or can comprehend, well, that's our backs.
Hmm. And see, and it's a lot of things. It's I don't know if it's Brownsville or it's the current environment of the world that we live in. We did a foreign exchange student, and I've talked about it before. My daughter is in 10th grade right now. So we did a foreign exchange student when she was in third grade, fourth grade, and sixth grade, I want to say. We've had 3 kids. I want to see who Louise said something, and I wanted to go back and see what it was. And I 100% in Brownsville had people tell me, well, you're doing it because of the money, right? And we're like, no, we're not getting any money. Well, then why are you doing it? I'm like, because we want our child to understand other countries, and we want her to know global
Culture.
yeah, information, and just know my thing and what Ricardo was saying earlier was, I was wondering whether sometimes I would tell parents it's just about experiences. It's about spending the time with your child and giving them the vocabulary of experiences, and that's what I've always tried to do, is have my child experience, whether it's standing outside in a thunderstorm or with a hurricane. We stood outside, so she understood what that felt like. We have played in the mud barefoot, and then until we found broken glass. But I've tried to give my child as many experiences as we can. And it was such a negative thing about us having foreign exchange students. Right now, she is on a daily conversation messaging now, social media, with 2 girls in Germany and one in Ukraine, because those were all our foreign exchange students. Our kid has an understanding of what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and she's had that understanding since she was in third grade, because the foreign exchange student came in from Ukraine. It's expensive, because everything we paid for out of pocket, if we wanted to do anything, we needed to include another person now, and it got expensive. I was surprised at how much more one additional teenager can add to the household. And so I'm not saying it because I'm like saying foo foo doo foo, look at me, we did foreign exchange student, but I was, one, surprised at how much negativity I got from friends, and two, I just want to bring out the fact that if you can provide experiences for children, that's what we need. And that's one of the things that Big Brother Big Sisters did. That was one of the things that I was told to do. If my little sister was not able to go to the movies, take her to the movies. If my little sister was not able to go to the beach, to the mall, to the zoo, I was supposed to provide experiences for her, so that she had the background knowledge that they need in school.
I believe state local government spends about $40 a day to incarcerate an individual. Imagine how much cheaper it would be to use all those
Mhm.
funds to prevent incarceration by proving support, financial, food, housing, education. It's all about spending smarter and seeking a qualitative return on investment. I
Yeah,
agree
that's
a
a good point.
million percent. A million percent. One thing, wasn't the encampment used as a dump site for toxic waste? Yes, for the fertilizer. I remember the kids loved that place and even claimed it came complete with a haunted house. I don't know what they meant, but they loved it. Yes,
I don't either, someone, because I was never top whatever percent you needed to be to go.
I was there.
Erasmo,
I
going
know.
back to the youth, you know, we had a whole year and a half where our kids kind of were on Zoom, and we had the teachers did the best they could and so on and so forth. And there was a lot of issues that came out as a result of that, you know, and people don't understand going back to the youth and going back to the kids, it's not on the teachers. Don't saddle the teachers and don't blame the teachers. It is a cooperative movement between the parents and the teachers to not only instill education but values in those students. And part of the value is a work ethic. If you don't do the work, that's life. You don't get paid. You don't pass. You don't make it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'd like to add that it's also community, and maybe that's something that we need to start doing. Yeah. Um, sorry, I was thinking of somebody else. That one of the things is the environment we grew up with was more community involvement, and if maybe again, if our leaders are not going to do it, then maybe our small town, our small business leaders can help us do it.
Well, that's what we're stuck with. Going back into Luis's comment. You know, we used to again, uh, folks understand the schools are ours.
Hmm.
The schools are ours. The parks are ours. PUB is ours, guys. Don't let them make you believe that they're not yours. Now, because we can't have these programs in school, you know, they've had to been sent to the nonprofit, to the churches, Maggie. I mean, look,
Hmm.
we have the resources. We've got the gyms. We've got the playgrounds. We've got everything. It's ours.
Hmm.
It's not theirs. It's ours. We need to have leadership out there that redirects what is ours back to the children.
Yeah.
And you know where you see the hypocrisy in it? Find a middle school or high school that's named after a politician's relative. Find a park that's named after a politician's relative, and I'll tell you where that politician's head was.
And that's unfortunate. You know, and Maggie, why, Maggie,
Why
why?
my name?
Because I mean, look,
What
it's
did I
just
do?
it's just so simple, you
I
know.
know. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I understand your frustration because it's the superintendent not willing to work with the community. It's the school board members not taking on the responsibility of working with the community. It's the mayor and the city commissioners that are not doing their part. It's the county judges and the county commissioners who take issue when we question them. And it's absolutely, you're right. It's very frustrating when all these people that are supposed to be helping the community are in it for themselves. And we know right now, all these administrators, all these leaders are in it for themselves. You don't see them putting things out for others than how is it going to feed me
Benefit
back?
me.
Yeah.
Another issue that's what everyone youth are stuck indoors in games. They need to get out 100%. I mean, and again, it's part of the curse of technology. It's that double-edged sword. It's
Hmm.
amazing. It's great. It's wonderful, but it could also be enslaving. And that's just very, very unfortunate. I remember
Hmm.
growing up, the Buena Vida Project had an after-school program that helped with tutoring, and they would also take us to field trips and help with homework. Communities have to also engage. And
Hmm.
shout out to Youth Build. You know, I love Youth Build. They're out there by Buena Vida, Via Verde, by Via Verde,
McDavid, they're not
huh?
the ones that are over by McDavid or
McDavid.
McDavid. I've been watching.
Yeah, they're right next to the women's help center. They're around that area.
No,
Or
the
the,
Friendship of Women is over here in front of the church on that
yeah,
linkage.
and youth build is around there too.
No, it's on McDavid now.
Well, it's nearby then. Como tú dices, it's around that general area. De las Almos, ahí.
Allá, allá.
Yeah, that's the way you
No, no,
say
but,
it too.
no, and let me say that youth build also took over a church building. Have y'all seen that? It took over a church building. Yeah, it was used to be a church building, and now you know it's that youth build, and that I'm very very proud, and I like what they do out there for kids. That's the type of programs, Maggie, because I don't know if you saw the list that we put out there. of the list of the individuals that are out there trying to get the hot funds. You
Yeah,
know,
I saw.
but these are the groups that I want to get more funds. I want them to get more funds because they are like this, with our kids, and not the
They're the
beer
ones
fest.
making a difference in
Yeah,
the
not the
city.
beer fest, not sombrero fest, not charo. And I nothing against all these groups, guys, but the ones that directly impact our kids, Casa,
Mhm.
performing arts, Roca. They had these programs, guys, where they were doing music throughout the summer for free, teaching instruments and stuff. And
Who was that?
Roca, when they were here on right close to my office,
In the downtown area, I think it was like on 12th Street, no?
La,
One of
La
those,
Petrina,
the,
Petrina House, no? Petrona,
yeah,
Oh
something.
yes. Uh, Starts with a C.
Pet,
It's a woman's name.
Casa
yeah,
Petrina, no?
Petra.
Petrina,
Okay.
wasn't
No,
it?
Sam, I wasn't. I wasn't big sister to the sister who he says is rich, but I was big sister to the one who travels a whole lot.
She's
Um,
pretty rich too.
Carolina. I want to say the woman.
Petrina,
I don't know. Sorry. Okay, here's the other thing. Ugh, never mind. Se me fue la onda.
that's
Sorry,
strange.
Ricardo. That happens a lot. Comes in and then goes right out. Oh, I know what. No, never mind. Sorry, I lost it again. Sorry.
My two coaches that teach, they left Arizona and the other to Houston because of low pay. Yeah. En mis tiempos les daban cachetadas a los huercos. Ahora los huercos les dan, pegan a los papás. That's very unfortunate.
Carlota.
But that's a little bit far fetched, cachetada. Like, you can, like, spank them, but not be smacking the heck out of their faces.
Well, that's
bigger.
Carlota Petrina.
That's what I said.
You didn't say Carlota. I was telling you it was like Carolina or something like that.
I said Petrina.
Well, that, but I was telling you it was a woman's first name with a C. Anyway.
Skateland was cool.
Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. So right now, and this is one of the things that I was going to bring up earlier. Right now, this past summer, my brother lives near Austin, and I told him, send me your girls who are in 2nd grade and 6th grade. Send me your girls and have them spend the summer here with me, because that was one of my favorite things to do. Was right? I know. Sorry, sound mind. I don't. Someone said I was talking too loud. My kid says that all the time. That's what happens when I get all excited. Ya se me fue la onda. Oh, no, I'm like no longer feeling Drew Brown anymore. I think we need somebody new. So my brother sent me my kids, his kids, and he said, where do you want, nice to see you nice to see you to get Frankie. He asked me, what can my girls do while they're in Brownsville? We looked it up. The zoo for a week was like $150. The Camille Playhouse, also, you have to pay a big amount to go in and do that. What's the other one?
Even in Fragile Planet, it was like 150.
Yeah, and then who's the one? The Camp Lula Sam's. That's an idea camp now, and my brother paid, I think, $180 for the day, also to camp for a week. So that's the thing, is we need some kind of program. I mean, maybe BISD. That's what we used to do. We'd go to Martin Elementary and we'd sit in a hot room that had no AC, and we played Monopoly and Sorry and all the games that we couldn't afford to have at home. All the board games.
I think in Morningside they did like a program where they would do like the whole NASA thing, and they were trying to talk with like the International Space Center, something like that.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of programs that should be brought back.
There, Carlota Petrina. Sorry.
That's what I said.
You said Petrina. That was all you were saying. Did we lose Mr. Barrera?
Yeah, Erasmo was wrong. He didn't say it right.
Yeah, didn't say it right first time. You weren't the first one to say it right. I was the first one to say it right, wasn't I? And that's thanks to
because you got to be a text message.
The person who
Maggie, you were right.
Yeah, that was right. Thank you.
Are you still there, Ricardo? Or did you freeze out?
Or did he?
Well, he
have
went to the
answer
restroom because he blocked it when it has a mute.
He might have. I know.
But yeah, there should like
stop it.
And there's some things that you can even do without having to spend lots of money. Like when you were talking about a cop involvement with the community, You can just go get a couple of cops and go play basketball with the kids in the park.
Absolutely, yes. Or BISD.
You don't have to spend money.
Whenever they get all these extra funds, they could do summer programs that are just fun for the kids. That doesn't have to involve more school, more academics. You're still teaching them, you're still engaging them. You just don't have to follow a certain curriculum. And I think that's what we need is we need to bring the kids back in to community programs that allow for that.
Or if there was a program where like cops would show kids how to shoot guns,
I don't know about that.
self-defense,
But let me
stuff
say
like
that
that. That'd be something cool.
just to,
Introduce them into law enforcement.
just to respond to Maggie's wrong comment. It's good to have you back, Ricardo.
What was my wrong comment?
Just to clarify, like one of the things in regards to this, what happened at Porter, I'm not going to say anybody was right. Just going to wait to see what the evidence proves. It's just I'm very, very glad, very, very proud that no one was hurt.
And I understand what you're saying. And I'll be the first one to admit that when Uvalde happened, I jumped right in on the thank you, cops, for helping out our kids.
Like you
I
did
was right
today.
in there with that. And I understand your point of view, Erasmo, also in that we need to wait and see what the whole the investigation reports. And I think you're right. I think he wrote it down, Chuck. I think you're right in that BISD should have come out and said students are safe, teachers are safe. We'll come back at you when we have more information. And God, someone please, oops, I said God, sorry. Well, Yahweh, someone please give the superintendent a thesaurus and the McGraw-Hill Handbook of Grammar and Usage. Oh my
God Almighty. Hey
Get
Chuck,
public speaking skills, please.
zero. Chuck, send me a text because I sent you a text to the number you posted and didn't work. Send me a text. My number is scrolling in the bottom. Yeah, that's all I wanted. I just want give it some time. Let's wait. Let's not jump the gun. Let's not demonize these kids yet. And Maggie, I don't know if you saw the I don't know if you saw the
It's because it's like partial.
Hearing.
It's like partially. You're like, and it's bad image because you're already caught with controlled substance. The rest of the stuff, how it came about, the whole thing, that's what's in doubt.
Maggie, did you see Maggie? Did you see the
timeline?
The bond hearing?
I didn't pay attention to it. I've been listening to what you've said about it.
Maggie, literally, it hurt my heart. And hardly, I'm not a sentimental guy. Hardly anything ever, gets to me like that.
Because I got more or less the same vibe. Like you were like, Chinelas, you wanna like tirar la esquina because we've been to court hearings.
Yeah,
like,
some of us
dude, you're better off doing this or that.
Maggie, literally, I wanted to reach into the video and hug the kid.
Is it available that you can go back and watch it or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Where? I'll try to see if I can send it to you.
Okay.
It really I don't know, and that's why I'm very glad Ricardo's here, because literally I just wanted to go out there and hug the kid. What can and the thing going in my mind, what can I do to help this kid?
I wonder if we could reach out to the mother to see if we can get like some sort of comment from her, or hopefully he gets a better like a different lawyer. Because the guy did tell him, like, dude, it's either like you have this person or you get a different one. And because the kid doesn't know anything,
Mm-hmm.
He's barely starting in the system.
Well,
I think we do need to have a balance between our security and, again, going back to the root of the problem and making that investment in our youth early on. You don't have necessarily a breakdown until you get early on. But let's just applaud what we have now. We do have, aside from the people that handled the situation, we have had 0 incidents like this so far that I know of in Brownsville. And I do believe that with more training and more focusing on our youth, we can keep this kind of thing at bay. But let's use this as a prompt. Let's use this as a wake-up call right now.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I want to commit. One of the things that I've been saying is that I've got this election and another election, and that's I'm out. But I want to commit, to anyone out there in our community that wants to join up, wants to join up and wants to, fight together. And again, nothing about politics, guys. Again, y'all know my stance on politics, but let's bring it back. Let's
Mhm.
fight for our children. Let's fight for our kids, and because Maggie, you got to see it, and it hurts your heart. And it really, for a lot of people out there that were saying, "No, they're gonna get what they deserve," and all this, and they're poop sticks and everything, and we're like, look at the video, man. Just look at the video, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and
Well,
I
and it's
watched
like
the
when
video.
people judge, they're like that they're poop sticks or whatnot, but they got to that point because of the the no programs being available. You know.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, Chuck. We've never had that at 4-H, and they are available, aren't they? Out there programs like for rural and city kids. But
I think Harlingen has them.
Los Fresnos, I know, has
Yeah,
it.
Los Pelos has them.
Yeah,
We just need to do more as a community, And again, it's not a one man fight; it's a community fight, guys. It's a
I
community
agree.
fight.
I
Uh,
mean,
I-
but have you always been doing it? Because, like I say, when I was 21 is when I started doing the Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's always right now. I'm trying to do little free libraries, so it can't just be at Aspo and I and Sam and I standing here yelling from the top of our at the top of our lungs. And thank
whenever
you, Ricardo, for coming on. Also, yeah, we need everybody else to help out.
whenever Maggie shows up,
If he only had a brain, stop it. Whatever.
send those kids books so they can read in jail. Send the superintendent a book.
Sure.
Imagine if we invest half of what we spent on prisons. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of weird because to look at it in reverse, you go like, "Gee, couldn't we use this money?"
Mm-hmm.
For
Hey, but prisons is a big business. Lots of money to be made. People are building prisons, private
Mm-hmm.
corporations, shareholders. That's the world we live in.
I'm mad because my daughter says, "Are they short and teachers?" Yes, they are. Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
they are. Guys, our time is up 18 minutes ago. But time went by so fast. We're like, oh, you can't stop. Ricardo, thanks, man.
Yeah, we need
Thank you for
Ricardo back
having me.
on.
Are you gonna
Yeah,
are you gonna commit to come on weekly?
I'm going to commit to come on weekly.
Woo!
if you can come on a certain night, then I can stay off that night.
I need to
Maggie,
improve my technology here because my Wi-Fi was off and on. But thank you very much for your patience.
no,
That's
no, it was great. It was wonderful. No, Maggie. I mean, look, Maggie. We just talked about that. Community needs you.
I know.
You,
I'm just
you,
giving
you
you a
said
hard
it.
time. That's my regular spiel. Is since I don't get paid, I need some time off.
I took you to sushi. I don't know to Jack in the Box. Where did I take you? To Johnny Rockets.
Johnny
You're
Rockets.
like, I took you somewhere.
Yeah.
Remember?
I paid for
I,
you
oh
and your
yeah,
daughter.
I,
That's gotta be good for a couple of shows.
I didn't take you to Morning Glory, but I took you to Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, no.
But let me tell you, it was equally expensive. Johnny Rockets is expensive. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh yeah, and my kid's been wanting to have that plant. What
Johnny
was that?
Rock is expensive. Why didn't you take all your nephews?
Let me tell you guys, the only ones I like, because I don't like that Frankie guy who came on and didn't say hi to me. But like my dentist kids, I like those guys. It's great to see Ron, John here.
What was that burger you had? The fake burger?
Oh, the vegan burger at Johnny Rockets.
Highly recommended, folks.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's one of the best hamburgers. Well, one of the best vegan burgers I've ever had.
A vegan burger?
Vegan
Yeah.
burger.
That's
Vegan
totally non-Republican meal.
Delicious. Well, just to equate that, to balance it out, I did have a Wellington burger up at Sonora, up in Monterrey. Delicious.
Sonora Grill.
Sonora Grill, the racist place. Going back into the Republican thing. Ya callen a Sam.
Sorry, Sam. I took over a little bit.
Hey, I was
feeling bad.
quiet through like half an hour.
They were being sarcastic.
No, I
Guys.
think Sam was quiet for a long time.
Guys, have a great evening. Thank you again to everyone that showed up tonight, even Maggie. Guys, have a great evening. Social distance, face covering, hand
Hey,
sanitizer.
before you leave,
Like that
Like
damn
and
page.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe to that damn YouTube
for the
page.
love of God. And
Please.
make a freaking difference in some child's life.
Amen.
That's a good closing. Make a difference in a child's life. And guys, be good to each other. See you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.
Bye.